You guys might remember that 6 weeks ago, Michele Whittington was here and she did a talk called Won't, Will, Did. And what she was talking about was whether or not it was actually a good idea for her to go to India for this retreat at the Gandhi ashram. And it was the whole process of getting her visa, not getting her visa, and the mystery that was involved there. Well, at the end of that, you found out that she went, and now Reverend Dr. Michele Whittington is back. And she's going to tell us what it was like to go not halfway around the world, but a third of the way around the world. It's actually 13,000 miles from Phoenix to Ahmedabad, India. And she's going to tell us about what happened when she got there. Reverend Dr. Michele Whittington.
Thank you, Reverend Bill, and thank you all for being here. Leo, I just have to do a shout out to Leo. It's so good to see your beautiful face. Yay, Leo's a longtime friend, so I'm very happy to see you here. And very honored, Dr. Michele Watley, that you're here as well. So as Bill said, I did go to a leadership retreat in Ahmedabad, India in January. And this retreat was entitled Gandhi 3.0 Leadership Retreat. Don't ask me what the 3.0 stands for or why it was 3.0. I don't know. I had so many questions and I got so many answers at this retreat, but that was not a question that I asked. But that's what it was called, Gandhi 3.0 Leadership Retreat. There were 40 leaders from around the world who were invited to attend, and there were also 35 volunteers, also from around the world, also leaders who were there to support the entire process. So to say it was life-changing, knock my socks off experience would be an understatement. In our very first session, there was a question posed. And the question was, how do we as leaders in 2024 operationalize love? And the question was asked, what lessons can we learn from Gandhi and his work in the early to mid 1900s to do that? And I'm going to add a third question this morning because I like to always make anything I talk about personal and real and usable to you. So my question is going to be, how do you, as a leader in your own life, operationalize love? Big question. We might have a few answers here today. But first, let's talk about this concept of love, because I mean, Jamie, when Jamie asked me what I was talking about, and I told him love, he said, "Well, I got a couple of songs about love." Many songs have been written about love. A lot of it romantic love, but just even beyond that, quote after quote after quote about love. And I want to just give you a couple that I think are timely for our time today. One of them is one of my favorite quotes from Ernest Holmes in The Science of My Textbook. In case you want to check it out, make sure I got it right. It's on page 298. And Ernest Holmes said, "Love is the grandest healing and drawing power on earth. It is the very reason for our being." I love that quote. It makes my heart sing. Buddha said, "Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. That is the eternal rule." The Dalai Lama, "Love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive." So let's do one more quote from the man of the hour, and it's not Dr. Bill, although he is always the man of the hour, but the man of the hour for us today is Mahatma Gandhi. And he said this about love, and he sounds a bit like a religious scientist in this quote, so that makes me love this quote even more. "Whether humanity will consciously follow the law of love, I do not know, but that need not disturb me. The law will work just as the law of gravitation works, whether we accept it or not." So those are all amazingly powerful words. But in each of them, I think there's something fundamentally missing. Each of those quotes has the word love being a noun, a concept, a theory, an ideal we strive to live up to and sometimes don't. But what we need and what operationalized love means is love as a verb, love as an action, love as boots on the ground, get your hands a little bit dirty, action. We could rephrase, how do we operationalize love, to say, how do we put love in action? And Khalil Gibran, the beautiful Persian poet, started to get to this idea when he said, work is love made visible. Of course, the question is, what kind of work are we talking about? So today I want to share with you how Gandhi answered that question. At the retreat, we explored deeply in our time together 4 design principles that Gandhi lived by. Lived it, his soul taught and practiced. 4 of them. Now, I'm not going to give you all 4 because I don't have time. And of course, I'm setting myself up to come back just like I did last time. I set myself up to come back. So Bill, I'm doing it again. Here we are. I'm going to give you 2 today. And if you invite me back, I'll give you the other 2. But I wanted to spend decent time with each of them. And I can't do that in the time that we have to do all 4. So we're going to get 2 today. And they are the concepts of, number 1, self-rule, deep cast versus broadcast. The heck does that mean? We'll explore it in a minute. The second one, the second design principle that Gandhi used to operationalize love was, and this one's more understandable without deep description, but we will discuss it, is benefit all. Be a benefit to all. Okay, so the first one, self-rule, deep cast versus broadcast. In order to talk about that, I want to share a little factoid with you. How many of you have used the phrase and attributed it to Gandhi, be the change we wish to see in the world? Anybody ever use that? Be the change we wish to see in the world. Gandhi said, well, guess what, my friends? No, he didn't. Gandhi did not actually say that. He said something similar to it, longer than that has probably been paraphrased to that little soundbite, and it's a great soundbite. It's a powerful soundbite. It's an amazing soundbite. It should go on mugs and t-shirts and wall hangings and all that, but it wasn't what Gandhi actually said. I want to read to you, and I'm going to ask one of our beautiful tech people to go ahead and put this in the chat so that you can see it as well. And this gets to the concept, even though he doesn't use the term, but it gets to the concept of deep cast. All right, so here is the actual quote. We but mirror the world. All the tendencies present in the outer world are to be found in the world of our body. If we could change ourselves, the tendencies of the world would change also. That could be the line that got paraphrased, or it might be the next one. Let's see. Let me say that one again. If we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. As a man changes his own nature, so does the attitude of the world toward him. This is the divine mystery, a wonderful thing it is, and the source of our happiness. We need not wait to see what others do. That is the full Gandhi quote. Deep cast is in there. Change ourselves. This, of course, I know I'm singing to the choir because in Science of Mind, in New Thought, we believe in internal change creates external change. But this deep cast concept is about a very specific internal change. And it is about going within, finding and cleaning out that which would prevent us from serving in the highest, holiest, humblest, most unencumbered and grace-filled way. That was a mouthful. Let me say it again. Deep cast means going deeply within and finding and cleaning out that which would prevent us from serving in the highest, holiest, humblest, most unencumbered, grace-filled way. Go within and find where your ego is ruling the show, where your ego wants you to be the best, to be noticed, to be seen, to be acknowledged. And this isn't about not having self-worth and not knowing the amazing being that you are. It's not about that, but it's about knowing you're an amazing being and just going out and being it without the need for external validation. That's easy to say, not quite as easy to do. So I was telling Dr. Bill that I might share a personal story that was very difficult for me. Okay, so I'm going to. But before I share that, broadcast. So deep cast means go within, clean out, clean house so that you can serve in the highest way, versus broadcast, which is wanting accolades, wanting recognition, wanting to be seen, wanting to be noticed, wanting to be given credit, wanting to, people to see all the good that you're doing, et cetera, et cetera. That's broadcast. And I didn't really think that I had issues with broadcast. I didn't really think I had a gigantic ego. I knew I had a bit of one, but not a gigantic ego. But what I found, and this was really challenging and humbling for me, and I got to do this very work while I was in India, because I was around amazing people who are doing incredible work in the world. I mean, big work in the world. And my ego actually didn't like that very much, because I felt like a guppy swimming in an ocean of whales. And I realized I don't like being a guppy. I realized I like kind of being a big fish, in a relatively small pond. I like that. And my ego just had a fit. So I got the opportunity right there in India, in Ahmedabad, India, to do some deep cast and to really take a look at that. And I did. And it wasn't pretty and it wasn't easy, but it was really powerful. And I'm very, very grateful that I had the opportunity to do that, so I could come back in my world and serve in a deeper, more humble, grander, not grander as in look at me grand, but on a grander scale, even from a humble place. It really was profound. So I invite you just to think about, without any kind of self-judgment, no self-judgment, simply how is it that I might go deeper within, deep cast, so that I can serve the world and bring out my amazing gifts in a bigger way without having to be a big deal. That's kind of the bottom line. So that's number one, deep cast. Number two, or deep cast versus broadcast. The second design principle that Gandhi offered us was benefit all. That one's more self-evident, I think, than our first one. Be a benefit to all. One of the leaders that was there, his name is J. Cohen Gilbert, was the co-founder of an organization and a movement, really, to create a new type of corporate entity. And I just want to briefly tell you about this, because you may know about this, but I had never heard of it. And I was blown away when I heard that he created with his partner what's called the B as in beneficial, the B Lab. And the B Lab actually put through legislation to create a new kind of corporation, a new corporate structure, and it's called a B corporation. You've probably heard of S Corps, C Corps. This is a B Corp. B Corps have as their premise to make, their goal is to make a positive impact on society, and they explicitly say that profits are not their only goal. They want, yes, exactly, Sandy. I can't see all of you, but I see Sandy clapping, right? And there is now a B corporate structure. So a corporation can become a legal B Corp. And then if they want to take it an extra step, they can become a B certified corporation. And I want to read you the Declaration of Interdependence that all certified B Corps sign on to. Talk about being a benefit to all. We envision a global economy that uses business as a force for good. This economy is comprised of a new type of corporation, the B Corporation, which is purpose-driven and creates benefit for all stakeholders, not just shareholders. And what they mean by stakeholders are anyone involved, including our environment. So it's customers, it's vendors, it's employees, it's the environment. B Corps are concerned about all of that. And I am so excited to have learned that there are over 8,000 B Corps around the world. That's not a ton, but it's also not a drop in the bucket. They're in 161 industries, 95 countries, and have almost 750,000 workers. So B Corps are a thing. And one of my favorite companies that I buy gifts from all the time is called Uncommon Goods. And when I got home from this retreat, I happened to jump online to buy something, and I saw, much to my delight, a certified B Corp logo on their website. It just made me so happy. So we might not be a corporation that's going to become a B Corp, but the question for us all is, how can we be a bigger beneficial presence in the world? Gandhi gave us an answer to that. He said the simplest acts of kindness are by far more powerful than 1,000 heads bowing in prayer. And because we know how powerful prayer is, that makes that an even bigger statement. So acts of kindness, acts of kindness. And Bill, will you put in a link, or would somebody put in a link to a 30-day kindness challenge? If you guys want to take it, I did this right when I got home. I had all my students do it. It was a beautiful experience and a way to bring kindness and love into action. So in these few moments that I've had, there are your two design principles, two of the four design principles from Gandhi: self-rule, deepcast versus broadcast, and benefit all. So I return to the question that I asked at the beginning: how do you, as a leader in your life, operationalize love now that you know what it means, with some examples? How might you do a bit of internal housekeeping to fully and freely be your most amazing self with humility and grace? And how might you be an even bigger beneficial presence in the world? 30-day challenge of kindness would be a great place to start. I want to end by saying Ernest Holmes, toward the end of his life, was asked, if you had this all to do over again, would you change anything? And he said, yes, I would change one thing about my teaching. He said, I would speak less about the law because it just works all the time, automatically. And I would speak more about love. So let's not only speak more about love, but let's be love in action. Blessings to you all. Thank you.